My son, my daughter, today I come to you to tell you that this difficult time is a test, and yes, I am testing you. But know that this test is not to punish you or keep you away, but to strengthen you. Every difficulty you face is an opportunity to draw closer to me, to trust me with all your heart. I know that the path may seem heavy, and perhaps you wonder why these struggles. I see your effort, I know your pain, and I accompany you every step of the way. What I ask is that you remain steadfast, even when the answer or relief seems far away. This is the test of faith, and it will prove how strong you are and how capable you are. Stay until the end of this message, because in it you will find words that will nourish your faith and remind you that you are never alone. I would never put a trial in your life that you couldn't handle. You have what it takes to get through all this and more. Every word I leave here is to calm your heart and guide you in the steps you wish to take. When I talk to you about the teachings of my Son Jesus, I am giving you something eternal, something that goes far beyond any moment or circumstance. This is a love without borders, a message that doesn't age, doesn't pass, and which, day after day, crosses time and touches the lives of those who are willing to listen. If you think about everything Jesus taught, you'll see that love is at the center of everything. He didn't come to impose cold rules or judge those who fail. He came to show, with his own life, what it is to truly love. Jesus lived love in every gesture, in every word, with an open heart, accepting people as they were, even with their faults and weaknesses. In one of his most precious sayings, Jesus said, "Love one another as I have loved you." This is the kind of love he offers, a love that welcomes, forgives, holds no grudges and expects nothing in return. He showed us that loving is something we do to enrich the other person's life, not our own. Imagine the world if everyone lived like this, with this genuine and transforming love. Loving those who love us is easy, but Jesus teaches us to go further. He calls us to love even those who have hurt us, who have rejected us, who have not believed in us. This is challenging, I know, which is why it requires faith and strength. This is the kind of love that doesn't depend on our own strength, but comes from me, a love that you find in my Son and that only needs your open heart to flourish. Now, you might ask, but why is it so important to love like this? Son, when you love as Jesus taught, you become an instrument of peace, of kindness, of compassion. This doesn't mean that you don't feel pain or disappointment, but that you have learned not to keep these feelings inside. Because every act of love you perform is a small light that you turn on in a world that so often lives in darkness. For Jesus, love is the answer to hatred, the antidote to anger and discouragement. Every little gesture you make, whether it's a smile, a hug or a word of comfort, counts. Nothing is too small for me, and all your attitudes of love, however small they may seem, have value. Jesus didn't just talk about love, he lived every word. When he forgave those who hurt him, when he healed those who many avoided, and when he welcomed those who were despised, he showed that loving is a verb, an action that doesn't expect something in return. He wasn't there to accumulate wealth or to be applauded. He was there to serve, to give his all out of love for everyone. And it is this same love that I make available to you, now and always. Think about it, child, true love is a gift, and he taught us that giving love is more blessed than receiving it. Perhaps you feel you don't have the strength to love like this, and that's understandable. But I want you to remember that you are not alone, that your every step is guided by me, and that Jesus is the perfect example that it is worth living with love, that it is always worth moving forward. These messages are for you to grow in faith, to inspire you to be a light. So I invite you to be here, to be part of this even more closely. Subscribe to this channel, because every word I share with you has a purpose, every message is a new opportunity for you to strengthen your faith, to remember how much you are loved, and to learn to live as Jesus lived, with love, hope and compassion. Son, let's go deeper into what Jesus taught us, going beyond love and compassion to something that is sometimes even more challenging, forgiveness. I know that forgiving those who have hurt you isn't easy, but I want to show you that it's part of the path to true peace. When you forgive, you are releasing the weight you are carrying, the weight of hurts, pains, resentments that can fill your heart with sadness and bitterness. Jesus didn't come to say that it would be easy, but he showed, with his own life, that it is possible. He forgave even those who had hurt him so cruelly, leaving everyone an example that many find difficult, but which transforms the lives of those who allow themselves to try. Think with me, why is it so hard to forgive? When someone hurts us, it's natural to feel sad, angry, and want them to understand the pain they've caused. And sometimes the person who hurt us doesn't even apologize or show any regret. But forgiveness, child, is something you do not only for the other person, but also for yourself. It's not about ignoring what happened or saying that what was done was fair or right. It's an act of liberation, a step you take towards inner peace. Jesus showed that forgiving is an act of love, not just for others, but for yourself. It's an act that allows you to move on with a light heart. This kind of forgiveness is a direct reflection of the love of Jesus, who extends his heart to everyone, without distinction. When you show this kindness, even to those you think don't deserve it, you are living exactly what he taught us. But don't feel overwhelmed by this mission, son. You don't need to make big gestures to reflect this love and forgiveness that Jesus showed us. Small acts can have a big impact. Sometimes forgiving is simply stopping reliving that hurt inside you. It's deciding that you will no longer be a slave to the pain that others have caused. Forgiveness is a silent gesture, often done in secret, that only you and I know about. It's a gift you give yourself and a reflection of Jesus' goodness in your life. When you act with kindness, even towards those who expect nothing from you, you put into practice the teaching of my son, who always welcomed, who always helped. Remember, Jesus didn't live for himself, he lived to serve and help. He was a light to those who were lost and gave strength to those who felt weak. This doesn't mean that you have to cancel yourself out, but it does mean that by showing kindness, you get closer to the purpose for which you were created. The world may tell you not to help those who wouldn't do the same for you, but Jesus' teaching is clear. You are called to act with kindness, even when you receive nothing in return. And in doing so, son, you grow and strengthen your faith. Perhaps you're wondering how to put this love into action in your daily life. I want to tell you that it can happen simply, in small gestures. A word of encouragement, a smile, listening to someone who needs to vent, all of this is putting Jesus' love into practice. You don't need to be an expert in faith to make a difference. Every little act of love, compassion, and kindness you offer has value and is noticed. By doing good, you are planting seeds that will often blossom in ways you can't even imagine. It's like a chain of love that spreads and, little by little, transforms the environment around you. And there's more, son. When you offer comfort to someone who is going through a difficult time, you are being like Jesus, who always offered support, who was a presence of peace in the midst of the storms. Jesus didn't ask if the person deserved it, he just held out his hand. I want you to understand that by doing the same, you are living according to my purpose for you. Your presence, your words of encouragement, and your support are important. Often, those who receive your support may not say anything, but rest assured that it has a positive impact on their lives. Jesus showed us that love is not something complicated or distant. He lived in a way that everyone can follow. It's not about being perfect or never failing. It's about having an open heart, about striving to be better every day, about being willing to forgive and show compassion even when it's difficult. Think about it, child, every little gesture of yours can be a reflection of me, it can be a demonstration of the love that I place in you. Now, I want to invite you to think about everything we've talked about here. These words have been left for you to reflect on and understand that love, forgiveness, kindness and compassion are more than concepts, they are paths that transform lives. And I'd like to know, how do these words touch your heart? Share with me what you think, what you feel about all this. When the days become difficult, and fear and doubt seem to dominate, I want you to know that you are never alone. Every moment of uncertainty, every pain, every anguish doesn't have to be faced by you alone, because Jesus has promised you that He will be by your side, today and always. He told us so clearly, "I am with you always," Matthew 28 verse 20. These words of Jesus, perhaps simple at first glance, are a profound and permanent reminder that you never face anything without Him by your side. In this promise lies the basis of the hope He came to bring to the world. This is the peace He left behind, a peace that says that, in the midst of any storm, you have a faithful companion who never turns away, even when everything seems dark. I see every difficulty, every situation you face, and I know the pain each one brings. I know that there are times when your strength seems to run out, when the weight of your worries seems too great to bear. It is at these times that Jesus calls you to trust, to lean on Him, and to remember that He has overcome the world and all the challenges you could imagine. In John 16 verse 33, He comforts us by saying, "In the world you will have tribulation. But be of good cheer. I have overcome the world." These words of Jesus are an affirmation of the reality of life and, at the same time, an invitation for you to have courage and hope. Jesus didn't promise a life without difficulties, but He did promise His constant presence, a love that remains steadfast in every situation. He lived like one of us, He knew suffering, rejection and misunderstanding, and He knows more than anyone what it's like to face the pains of life. In times of uncertainty, illness, loss, or fear, Jesus' promise is that you don't have to carry these burdens alone. He is by your side, not just watching, but feeling with you and giving you the strength to face whatever comes your way. Perhaps you're going through a time of discouragement, and it's natural for fear and insecurity to make you question whether everything is going to be all right. But what Jesus leaves us with is a peace that goes beyond understanding, a peace that is like a firm anchor, which keeps you safe even when the waves seem too strong. This peace is what sustains the heart in moments of doubt, what brings serenity in the midst of struggles. It's the certainty that, however difficult things may seem, He has overcome the world and is with you to face every battle. I want you to imagine this peace, son. It's not a peace that depends on circumstances, that appears only when everything is fine, but a peace that is present even in the greatest difficulties. Jesus doesn't just offer us words, but a peace that truly comforts, that is a firm support for the heart at all times. This peace doesn't eliminate problems, but it helps us to face them with a strength that comes from Him, a strength that allows us to walk even in the most difficult situations. This peace of Jesus is something that the world cannot offer. Sometimes people try to find relief in things that pass, but the consolation that Jesus offers is lasting, profound. It's a peace that you can carry with you, anywhere, and that gives you the strength to carry on. When you feel anxious or discouraged, when fear tries to take over, it is this peace that holds you up and helps you remember that you are not alone. Even in the moments when it seems that no one understands what you're going through, Jesus is there, He knows every detail, and He understands. Son, what I want you to understand is that this peace is a real promise, something that Jesus offers you so that you never feel helpless. He is your companion at all times, the presence that never leaves. He knows every one of your worries, every one of your fears, and He invites you to surrender everything to Him. By trusting in Jesus, you not only find peace, but also the strength to face any situation. This is a peace that frees you from the weight of worries, that helps you take a deep breath and find tranquility, even in the midst of storms. Jesus taught us that fear and anxiety don't have to take control of our lives. He called us to a confidence that goes beyond circumstances, a confidence that is not shaken. When fear arises, when worries seem too great, remember this promise, I am with you always. It's a promise that brings peace to the heart and courage to face each day, because Jesus is with you in every moment, offering His strength and His peace. Each of us faces struggles, son, and it's important to remember that Jesus understands each one. He has called us to a life of trust, peace, and faith. When everything seems to fall apart, when you feel powerless, know that you can find support in Him. Jesus does not abandon you, He is always by your side, offering the comfort that only He can give. This message of peace and hope is not just for you. It's a word that can comfort so many people who are facing difficulties, who are looking for an answer, for hope. So share these words, this video, so that others can also be touched and comforted by the presence of Jesus in their lives. May everyone find in this promise the peace that comes from God, a peace that sustains us and gives us strength, day after day. Son, you've probably noticed that life is full of ups and downs. There are days when everything seems to be going well, but there are also times when the challenges become too heavy to carry alone. It's at these times that I want you to remember what we said about the peace and companionship of Jesus. He is always with you, especially when you feel weak or discouraged. Nothing you go through is invisible to him. Every struggle, every pain, every feeling is known and welcomed. This peace that Jesus offers, even in the midst of storms, is one of the greatest demonstrations of his love for you. But there is something even deeper that he wants to teach you, to trust him, even when you don't understand why things are difficult. This trust is what strengthens you, it's what helps you keep going, even on the most difficult days. When Jesus invites you to trust, he is calling you to rest in his love. He knows that, alone, you may feel afraid and insecure, but with him, you can find the strength to face any situation. Remember that trust is like an anchor for your soul. It gives you stability, even when the world around you seems to be falling apart. Trusting in Jesus doesn't mean that you'll always understand everything that happens, but it does mean that you know he's looking out for you. Sometimes things can seem confusing and even unfair, but when you put your trust in Jesus, you rest in the certainty that he has a purpose for every moment of your life. And that purpose is always for your good. There's a beauty in knowing that you can rest in Jesus, even when the answers seem far away. That's because he is faithful, he is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He promised to be with you, and he always keeps his promises. Son, it's natural to feel fear or doubt at times, but don't let that steal your peace. Trust in Jesus is what allows you to look beyond the circumstances. It's what helps you to see that, no matter how difficult things may seem, he is by your side, taking care of every detail. When you start to truly trust in Jesus, you start to realize that every situation is an opportunity to grow and to see him at work in your life. Every challenge is a moment when he can show you his strength, his wisdom, and his love. And this is something you can live out day after day, no matter what happens. That's the power of trusting in Jesus. It transforms the way you see life. It gives you the strength to keep going, even when the road seems long and difficult. Jesus wants you to understand that you are not alone at any moment in your life. He knows you deeply, he knows your weaknesses, your doubts, and he loves you just like that. He doesn't expect you to be perfect, but he wants you to trust him, to allow him to guide you, even on the days when you don't understand what's going on. This trust is what will give you peace. It's what will help you face each day with courage, knowing that Jesus is by your side. So, child, when you're faced with life's challenges, remember that you don't have to face them alone. Jesus is with you, offering you the peace, strength, and love you need. And if these words have touched your heart, leave a like here so that others will also know that this message has brought you peace and hope. Living with purpose is something very special, and that's what I want to share with you now. Jesus invites us to live a life that not only benefits us, but also touches the lives of others around us. This life of purpose is not something distant or complicated. It starts with the small choices, the acts of kindness, the words of love and compassion that you share with those around you. When you do this, you reflect the heart of Jesus and become a beacon of hope and peace in a world that often seems dark and directionless. To live with purpose is to understand that every action, no matter how small, has the power to influence someone's life. Love and kindness are like seeds that you plant in each person you meet, and these seeds grow and bear fruit in ways you might not even imagine. When you act with kindness, when you reach out to those in need, you not only help someone in that moment, but you also carry Jesus' love forward, inspiring others to do the same. This is living with purpose, making every gesture a way of sharing the light that Jesus has ignited in you. The world around us is full of people facing struggles, carrying heavy burdens, looking for hope to keep them going. Perhaps you have already felt this lack of hope, this need for a light to guide the way. Jesus calls you to be that light for others, to be someone who brings joy, peace, and consolation to those who need it most. And this doesn't require anything extraordinary, you just need to be willing to listen, to care, to be present. Every time you choose to act with love, you are living out the purpose that Jesus left for all of us. In times of difficulty, pain, or discouragement, your loving presence, your words of support, are like a spring of fresh water for the weary. Son, this is reflecting the heart of Jesus. It is acting with compassion, with patience, with kindness, even when the world around you seems cold and indifferent. When you act like this, you're giving the world a glimpse of Jesus' love, you're offering some of the hope and peace that he brought to us all. Living with purpose is also something that brings true joy, a joy that doesn't depend on external circumstances. When you help someone, when you choose to love, you experience a peace and satisfaction that nothing can replace. This is because the purpose that Jesus places in your heart is not about earning or accumulating, but about giving and serving. When you act with this purpose, you find deep fulfillment, because you are living according to the plan he has for you. The world needs people who live with purpose, who choose to spread love and kindness wherever they go. Jesus knew this, which is why he called us to be active participants in his mission. He chose you to be part of this great work of bringing his love to those who are suffering, who are lost, who need hope. This mission is something that transforms not only those who receive it, but also those who offer it. Every time you act with love, you get a little closer to the heart of Jesus and become more like him. Son, living with purpose is not something that happens only in the big moments of life, but in your daily choices, in the small decisions to be kind, to forgive, to help, to listen. This is how you become an instrument of peace and healing in a world that is often broken and wounded. Every little gesture counts, every word of support, every hug, every smile. You have the power to transform the world around you, one small act of love at a time. If Jesus has called us to live with purpose, it's because he knows that this is the way to a full and meaningful life. He wants you to feel that joy, that peace that comes from doing good, from being someone who brings hope to others. This doesn't mean that life will always be easy or that you won't face difficulties, but it does mean that, in every moment, you will have a meaning, a reason to carry on, because you know that you are part of something bigger. Jesus set the example. He showed us how to love, how to care, how to serve. He showed us that the purpose of our life lies in giving ourselves to others, in being a reflection of his love. When you live like this, you not only find personal fulfillment, but you also help to build a better world, a more loving, more just, more peaceful world. This is the mission he has given you, and it is a worthwhile mission. May you always remember this truth: to live with purpose is to live as Jesus taught us, to make every day an opportunity to spread love and kindness. Every person you meet, every situation you face, is a chance to show Jesus' love to the world. Jesus taught us that love is the basis of everything, and it is in this love that we can find security, confidence, and purpose for each day. By saying, "Love one another," he didn't give us a complicated task, but rather a call to live fully, in a way that brings light and peace to all those around us. The love that Jesus shares is more than a fleeting feeling, it is a force that transforms. This love is not shaken by failures or difficulties, it does not diminish because of challenges, and it does not change with circumstances. He loves you, child, with a love that is so immense that nothing can separate you from it. Even when you feel small or lost, he loves you just the same. This love of Jesus is like an anchor that holds your heart, it's a peace that remains and a hope that doesn't give up on you. Jesus' message, so simple and direct, is an invitation for you to be a source of light in the lives of others. When you allow his light to shine through you, other people are touched by that love, and that is one of the most beautiful things there is. Letting this light shine doesn't require anything out of your reach, it just means living authentically, treating people with the same care, patience, and compassion that Jesus showed you. This is how you impact the world around you, with small acts of kindness, with gestures of understanding and with words of comfort. And you can be sure of one thing, son, Jesus' love for you is infinite. He knows every detail of your life, every fear, every dream, every weakness. Nothing you do or fail to do will change how much He loves you, because that love is unshakable. He is the one who holds you up when you stumble, who gives you strength when you're tired and who comforts you when you feel alone. This love doesn't abandon you, no matter what, and that's what makes Jesus' message so powerful. As well as love, Jesus gives us a hope that is firm, that doesn't weaken even in the most difficult circumstances. He looks at you and sees someone with potential, with value, someone who has a lot to offer the world. This hope that Jesus places in you is what gives you the strength to keep going, to keep trying, to believe that better days will come. He believes in you, and this trust is something you can carry with you, especially at times when life seems difficult. When Jesus calls you to trust Him, He is inviting you to give your worries, your pain and your doubts into His hands. He knows that life isn't always easy and that you often feel the weight of responsibilities and problems. But He wants you to know that, by trusting in Him, you don't have to carry these burdens alone. He is with you at all times, offering His peace and support. This trust in Jesus is like a rest for your soul, a certainty that no matter what happens, you will be safe in His hands. Son, living with this love and trust is what allows you to be a person who makes a difference in the world. You don't need great actions or extraordinary gestures. The way you treat others on a daily basis is already a great demonstration of Jesus' love. When you choose to forgive, when you choose to be kind, when you choose to listen and help, you are showing the world the heart of Jesus. This is the impact that the light of Jesus has through you, a light that warms, that comforts, and that brings hope. This light is a reflection of all that Jesus is to you. He is the one who will always be by your side, who will never leave you, who will be with you at all times. Even when you feel lost or discouraged, Jesus is there, offering His love and peace. This love is what sustains you, what strengthens you and what allows you to move forward, one day at a time. The love and hope that Jesus brings has the power to transform your life in ways you may never have imagined. When you open yourself up to this love, something profound begins to happen inside you. This love is like a river of peace that flows through your heart, renewing your strength, calming you in times of worry and filling your spirit with joy. Jesus invites us to accept this peace and to share what we have received from Him with everyone around us, so that others can also experience this transformation. Living with this love is both simple and extraordinary. It's not about doing great things or achieving complex goals, it's about allowing Jesus' love to flow through your every little attitude, touching the lives of everyone you meet. It could be a word of comfort to someone who is going through a difficult time, a smile that brightens the day of someone who is discouraged, or a gesture of help for someone who needs support. These actions, however small they may seem, carry the power of Jesus, and that's what makes them special. Jesus wants you to be a source of hope in a world that often seems lost and confused. Each person you meet faces their own battles, and often all they need is a light, a sign that they are not alone. This is exactly what you have been called to do. Jesus invites you to be that presence of hope, to be a reflection of His love and compassion. No matter where you are or what you do, you always have the opportunity to spread that light, to be someone who makes a difference in the lives of others. And this isn't just something you do for others, this love also transforms your own life. When you open your heart to Jesus, you discover a peace that is always there, a joy that doesn't depend on circumstances and a strength that comes from knowing that you are never alone. No matter what happens, Jesus is with you, guiding you, strengthening you, and filling you with hope. This unwavering love gives you the courage to face any situation, because you know that there is a purpose in everything you experience. Jesus doesn't just love you, He supports and empowers you. He knows about your struggles, your fears, the challenges you face, and He is by your side every step of the way. This love is like a source of energy that never runs out, always ready to renew you, always there to sustain you. And through this love, you become able to inspire others, to lift the spirits of those who are discouraged, to bring consolation to those who are suffering. It's a blessing to know that you can be this channel of peace and hope, that you can share with others what Jesus has done in your life. Every day is a new opportunity to live with this purpose, to be an extension of Jesus' love. In times of pain or joy, in good times or difficult times, you can always choose to let that love shine through. You don't need to have all the answers or be perfect. Jesus accepts you exactly as you are, and He empowers you to do what is necessary, to be a loving presence in the lives of everyone who crosses your path. By living this way, you discover that the peace and joy of Jesus are not just fleeting feelings, but something that sustains you at every moment. You begin to realize that, regardless of the circumstances, there is a greater force guiding your every step. And that brings a deep security, a confidence that allows you to move forward with a light heart, knowing that you are loved and that you have a special purpose. Son, this love transforms everything. It changes the way you see life, how you face challenges, how you interact with others. When you allow yourself to be touched by Jesus' love, every detail of your life becomes an opportunity to spread this peace and joy. And the more you share this love, the more it grows within you. It's a peace that has no end, a joy that is renewed, a hope that is never extinguished. That's the blessing of having Jesus by your side. Jesus' message is not just a teaching, but an invitation to face challenges courageously and confidently. Life often brings difficult moments, situations that seem unbearable and challenges that test our strength. However, it is in these moments that your faith can become the light that illuminates the path. When you rely on faith, you discover that you are capable of overcoming barriers that, at first glance, seem insurmountable. Remember that Jesus went through extreme difficulties during His life. He faced rejection, pain and, ultimately, crucifixion. Yet, even in the face of so much suffering, He never lost hope and confidence in the plan the Father had for Him. This is the essence of spiritual resilience. Even in adversity, you can find the strength to carry on, to fight and to rise up. Faith in Jesus is like an anchor that keeps you steady in the midst of life's storms. This anchor prevents you from being blown away by the winds and waves, and helps you to stay on your feet, even when everything seems to be falling apart. It is vital that you know you are not alone in this struggle. Jesus is always there, offering support and comfort. He never promised that life would be easy, but He assured you that no matter what the circumstances, you could find strength in Him. Every day, you have the opportunity to cultivate this faith, to nurture it through prayer, reading the Word and the practice of loving and serving others. This not only strengthens you, but also changes the way you look at challenges. You begin to see obstacles not as barriers, but as opportunities to grow and get even closer to Jesus' love. Another essential aspect of Jesus' message is forgiveness. Forgiveness is a powerful path to inner peace. By forgiving, you not only free those who have hurt you, but, above all, you free yourself from the weight that these resentments carry. People often carry heavy burdens of hurt and resentment, and this can be a major obstacle to true happiness. Jesus teaches us that forgiveness is not just an act of kindness towards others, but a gift we give ourselves. By releasing these negative emotions, you make room for compassion and love, which are fundamental to a fulfilling life. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or minimizing the pain someone has caused you. It actually means recognizing that pain and deciding that you won't allow it to control your life. Forgiveness is an act of courage, a step towards spiritual freedom. When you practice forgiveness, you begin to experience a lightness that transforms your inner self. It's as if the chains holding you back are broken, allowing you to walk towards a more promising future, full of light and hope. Faith also acts as a point of stability in times of change and uncertainty. Life is full of transitions, some desired and some unexpected. Often, these changes can cause anxiety and fear. However, faith in Jesus gives you a solid foundation in the midst of chaos. When everything around you seems uncertain, you can turn to Him and find the peace that surpasses all understanding. It is this peace that allows you to keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear. When you trust in Jesus, even in the most complicated situations, you realize that there is a greater purpose in everything that happens. The difficulties you face can be opportunities to grow, learn, and become stronger. Every challenge is a chance to draw closer to God, to understand His love and to experience His grace. As you can see, son, spiritual resilience, forgiveness and faith are interconnected. Together, they create a solid foundation for a life full of meaning and purpose. By cultivating these principles, you become not only a stronger person, but also an agent of transformation in the lives of others. Jesus' love is a powerful testimony of how to face adversity with courage and compassion. As you embrace these truths, remember that transformation begins within you. By allowing the light of Jesus to shine in your life, you become a source of hope for those around you. You have the ability to inspire others to face their own difficulties, to forgive and to find stability in their faith. Life is an opportunity to reflect the love of Christ, and when you act accordingly, your life becomes a living testimony to the power of spiritual resilience. You are called to live this truth, to become an example of what it means to trust in Jesus and to spread love and hope. Even when the storms of life arise, you can stand firm in faith, practice forgiveness, and find the strength that comes from Jesus' love. This is the essence of what it means to be a follower of His, and it is this essence that transforms lives and lights the way for those who are lost in the darkness. Service to others is a natural extension of the love that Jesus taught us to practice. When you look around you, you realize that the world is full of people who need help, consolation and support. Often the needs are simple, but when met with love and generosity, they can transform lives. Jesus not only calls us to love, but also to act, to get involved in the lives of those around us. Every little act of kindness counts and is a reflection of the love He taught us. Think about how a simple gesture can change someone's day. A smile for a stranger, a word of encouragement for someone who is discouraged, or even offering help to someone who is going through financial or emotional difficulties. These small acts, often invisible to the eyes of the world, are powerful because they express the heart of Jesus. He showed us that true greatness lies in service, in the willingness to put others before ourselves. When you dedicate yourself to serving, you not only fulfill the mission of love, but you also become an instrument of transformation, making a difference in the lives of the people who cross your path. What's more, serving others is a way of strengthening your own faith. When you get involved in the lives of others, you connect with the essence of what it means to be part of the human community. It is in this interaction that you experience God's love in a practical and tangible way. Jesus lived and taught this in His life. He didn't just preach love, He demonstrated it by healing the sick, feeding the hungry and giving comfort to the afflicted. Each of these actions was an expression of divine love in action. By imitating Him, you become a manifestation of that love in the world. And we mustn't forget the power of prayer. Prayer is your direct link with God, a sacred space where you can open up, share your struggles, your fears, your joys and, above all, seek guidance. It is through prayer that your faith is strengthened, because you are connecting with the source of all hope and love. Jesus taught us that prayer is fundamental to our spiritual journey. He Himself withdrew to pray, seeking communion with the Father. This shows us the importance of having time dedicated to this practice. When you pray, you're not just talking, you're also listening. Prayer is not a monologue, but a dialogue with God. It is in this space that you find peace, that you receive clarity in times of confusion, and that your hope is renewed. Life can often seem full of uncertainties and challenges. Prayer helps you to see things from a new perspective, allowing you to trust that God is always in control, even when everything seems chaotic. When you pray, you can ask for wisdom to know how to act, strength to face challenges and love to serve others. Jesus taught us that when we pray, we should not only seek our own needs, but also intercede for others. This not only brings us closer to God, but also helps us to understand and feel the pain of others, expanding our capacity to love and serve. As you dedicate yourself to serving and praying, these two practices become intertwined and strengthen your spiritual life. Serving others is a reflection of what you receive in prayer. When you are in communion with God, your heart opens to the needs around you, and you are moved to act. Just as light cannot be hidden, the love that flows from your life must be shared. Imagine the impact this can have. If everyone around you dedicated themselves to serving and praying, communities would become places of love and mutual support. The world could be transformed if everyone decided to put Jesus' call into practice. Small gestures of love and generosity can create a domino effect, inspiring others to do the same. You then become part of this movement of transformation that Jesus started. In moments of doubt or discouragement, remember that your connection with God through prayer empowers you to continue. You may not see the immediate results of your actions, but believe that every small act of kindness has the power to impact someone's life. What's more, prayer strengthens you, renews you, and encourages you to keep going, even when the results aren't visible. So open your heart to the opportunity to serve and allow prayer to be an essential part of your life. With these practices, you not only fulfill the mission that Jesus left us, but you also transform yourself and become an agent of change in the world. Every act of service and every moment of prayer are opportunities to connect more deeply with God's love, and that is a real blessing. This is the call that lies before you, and it is an opportunity to live fully the life that Jesus wants you to have. It is fundamental to understand the importance of community and spiritual connection in your life. Jesus taught us that we are not meant to walk alone. He called us to form bonds with those around us, to unite around a common faith, because together we are stronger and can face difficulties with more courage and love. When you think of community, think of a group of people who share the same vision, the same values, and the same faith. This connection goes beyond superficial interactions. It's about mutual support, a commitment to be there for each other in good times and bad. Jesus lived in community and showed us how vital this is. He surrounded himself with his disciples, not just to teach, but to share moments, challenges, and joys. He knew that each one had something to offer and that, together, they could fulfill the mission they had been given. Community is a reflection of what Jesus said in Matthew 18 verse 20, "For where 2 or 3 come together in my name, there am I in the midst of them." This means that when you join with others in faith, God's presence becomes more palpable. It is in communion with others that you can feel the strength and hope that come from unity. This unity is a source of encouragement that can help you overcome life's difficulties. In moments of sadness or discouragement, the presence of others can be a balm for the soul. The support of a community helps to remind you that you are not alone. What's more, the act of sharing your faith with others creates deeper bonds. When you talk about your experiences, your doubts, and your joys, you are opening yourself up to receive and offer love. This exchange creates an environment where everyone feels free to be vulnerable, to share their struggles and thus support each other in prayer and encouragement. The beauty of the Christian community lies in how everyone can contribute their gifts and talents, enriching the lives of others. Everyone has something valuable to offer, whether it's a word of wisdom, a gesture of kindness, or an attentive listen. Jesus also taught us about the importance of forgiveness and reconciliation within the community. It's natural for disagreements to arise in a group of people. However, what Jesus asked us to do is to try to resolve these differences with love and understanding. Forgiveness is not just an act of generosity, it is a way of maintaining harmony and unity within the group. By forgiving, you not only free others, but you also free yourself from burdens that can prevent you from living fully. The Christian community is therefore a place of spiritual growth. Together, you can study the Word, discuss teachings, and apply these principles in your daily lives. When you share your reflections on the Scriptures with others, everyone benefits from the collective wisdom. Everyone brings their own perspective, and this enriches the understanding of Jesus' message. Exchanging ideas and seeking spiritual knowledge together creates a learning environment that is essential for each member's growth. The spiritual connection you develop with your community can also manifest itself in concrete actions. By coming together to serve others, whether through charity projects, assisting those in need or supporting those who are facing difficulties, you will see how powerful this union is. Christ's love becomes visible through your actions, and this not only benefits those who receive the help, but also transforms the hearts of those who serve. Practicing service in community is not only a way of fulfilling Jesus' mission, but also a way of strengthening the bonds between you. Furthermore, it is essential that you seek out a community where you can grow and flourish spiritually. This could be a local church, a Bible study group, or even a small prayer group. The important thing is to find a space where you feel welcomed, loved, and challenged to grow in faith. Sometimes it can take time to find the right place, but don't give up. What you are looking for is a genuine connection with people who want to walk alongside you in faith. In times of difficulty or uncertainty, it is comforting to know that there are people around you who care and who pray for you. The Christian community is a refuge, a safe space where you can feel supported. Life itself can be challenging and full of ups and downs, but when you have a support network, everything becomes lighter. Struggles become easier to face when you know you don't have to go through them alone. Finally, remember that community is also an opportunity for evangelization. When you live your faith in community, you are giving a powerful witness to the world. People around you will see the love and unity that exists between you and will be drawn to it. This is a reflection of the love of Jesus, who united us as brothers and sisters. Your life, together with that of others, can be a light that shines in the midst of darkness, showing everyone that, even in difficult times, it is possible to find hope and love in Christ. The spiritual connection you develop in the community is not just for your benefit, but is a call to everyone. Together, you can impact not only each other, but also the world around you, showing that the love of Jesus is transformative and that unity in Christ is a powerful testimony of faith and hope. This is the invitation before you: seek community, serve with love, and live in spiritual connection with those who share the same faith. A topic that is very important and often neglected in our lives: acceptance and self-love. Amid the challenges and pressures of the world, it's easy to forget that the basis of any healthy relationship, including the one you have with yourself, begins with acceptance. Jesus taught us that loving others is a reflection of the love we should have for ourselves. This means that you need to value yourself and cultivate a genuine respect for who you are. When Jesus said to love your neighbor as yourself, he was calling you to understand that your value is innate and does not depend on your achievements or what others think of you. Each of you is unique and special in my eyes. Accepting this is a crucial step toward self-love. This love is not selfishness, it is recognizing that you also deserve care, attention, and compassion. By accepting yourself, you create an inner space where peace and joy can dwell. It's common for you to have doubts about your worth. External voices can often be critical and harsh, and this can lead to insecurity. However, I want you to remember that these voices do not reflect the truth about who you are. A person's value is not in their appearance, what they have, or their faults, but in their essence. Jesus looked at people not just for what they were, but for what they could become. He saw the potential in everyone, and that's what you have to do with yourself. When you accept yourself, you begin to cultivate a positive image of yourself. This doesn't mean that you can't recognize your flaws or work on your imperfections. Instead, self-acceptance involves a gentle and understanding approach to yourself. By seeing yourself as someone who is constantly growing, you allow change to happen in a healthy and loving way. Remember, everyone is a work in progress, and that's part of the beauty of life. What's more, this acceptance and self-love allows you to relate better to others. When you feel secure in who you are, it's easier to offer genuine love and understanding. You don't have to worry about comparing yourself to others or constantly seeking validation. This not only brings more peace to your heart, but also reflects in your interactions. The love you radiate begins within you and spreads to those around you. Jesus exemplified this in his interactions. He welcomed the marginalized, the rejected, and showed that every person is invaluable. He didn't look at the flaws, but at the heart. In the same way, by loving and accepting yourself, you become a channel of love for those who also need it. Your light can shine more brightly, helping others to see themselves as I see them, as valuable and loved beings. Acceptance is also an important step on your journey of faith. When you accept yourself, you open yourself up to receive love and grace. It means that you are ready to understand that, even in your struggles, I am by your side. Acceptance brings freedom. Freedom to make mistakes, to learn and to grow. You are not defined by your mistakes, but by your ability to get up and move on, with the certainty that love is always there. Sometimes accepting yourself can be a challenge, especially if you live surrounded by external expectations. But it's important to remember that your value is not dependent on what others think. The opinion of others is only a shadow. What really matters is the truth that lies within you. The most important voice you can hear is mine, which tells you that you are loved and accepted exactly as you are. As you begin to love and accept yourself, it's only natural that you also begin to cultivate healthier and more positive relationships. When you treat yourself with compassion, it's easier to be compassionate towards others. This creates a cycle of love and acceptance where everyone benefits. With every gesture of kindness, with every word of encouragement you offer to others, you are actually reflecting the love that has already begun within you. That's why I invite you to practice self-love every day. Look in the mirror and see the beauty that lies within you. Make positive affirmations about who you are. Recognize your achievements, no matter how small. Celebrate your individuality. Cultivate the habit of taking care of yourself, not just physically, but also emotionally and spiritually. This is essential for living a full and meaningful life. Now, son, I want you to share in the comments a word that represents good luck for you, something that resonates with the hope and love we want to spread. It could be hope, love, or any other word that has a special meaning for you. I also want you to check if you're already subscribed to the channel and, if you're not, consider joining this community that seeks to live out Jesus' message of love and acceptance. And, of course, don't forget to leave your like so that more people can be reached by this message. Now, let's pray together. Lord, thank you for the opportunity to accept and love myself. Help me to see the value in myself and to reflect that love to others. May I live in peace and bring light to those around me. May my every word and action be a reflection of your love. Amen. Continue on this journey of acceptance and love, always remembering that you are a gift that I created and that you have a wonderful purpose in this life.